Welcome everyone to another episode and video from Views from the Stands. Your host is here as always, G-Man, and we're going to be doing a college football segment. We're going to be going over week one recap. It is late. I know, understand tomorrow is pretty much, and today is week two. But given the schedules of last week and this week, still want to kind of recap some of the games that we went over last weekend. And then we're going to be doing our week two thoughts and predictions. We got a handful of games there. I think they're going to be good matchups. We'll obviously tune in tomorrow and find out. And then just a quick recruiting update across some of the country. We got some big time visits this weekend as these games unfold, and then we have a couple commitments as well that we're going to go over. So let's get right into it, guys, because I think we have a lot to go over. So the first one we're going to be talking about is North Dakota State versus Colorado, and I my first thought is Colorado's very lucky, in my opinion, to win this game, especially at the end of the game with the clock management, throwing the ball and whatnot. That you know w- wouldn't be my choice, in my opinion. So they scaved away. Obviously their passing offense stellar, right? You're throwing pretty much 445 yards off of 34 attempts. That's 13.1 yards per pass. There was an interception thrown, but Sanders also had 4 touchdowns again. So they got weapons, and that's kind of was their theme last year. I think there's still issues on that defensive side, as we watched last weekend on Thursday. I mean, North Dakota State was able to throw the ball almost 300 yards. They ran the ball for over 150, just a little bit over. Didn't turn the ball over. Had great possession time compared to Colorado. So, I mean, if I'm North Dakota State, I've been probably thinking, man, we let this slip. Could have had an opportunity to really win this game. So, and I think for Colorado, you got to get the run game going. You got to figure that side of the ball offense, and if you can't, you're not going to be an 8-win, 10-win team, in my opinion. You're gonna get 6, maybe 7, and you got a big test this upcoming weekend, which we'll talk about more um, to keep this thing rolling. So definitely a huge loss. Next one we're going to be talking about here is Georgia versus Clemson. I mean, what can you say about Georgia? They got a talented roster as always these past few years. They've been recruiting at the top of the top, and Clemson just they can't get their offense going. It seems like Clay Klubnik is just not that guy. Unfortunately, I really thought he was going to be at least a good quarterback, especially with Lincoln's brother Garrett at the helm at the offensive side. Is just not it's not a good mixture. Dabo's, I mean, I'm not saying he's lost the locker room, but it's just things are just not going well, obviously. But shout out to Georgia. I mean, they had a couple running backs hurt, or one of them was hurt. One of them due to the suspension with ETN and his issues off the field in the offseason. But yeah, I mean, Clemson still has some dudes on the defensive side. They don't use the portal much, obviously. So from a depth perspective, they're probably pretty weak. But I mean, from the front line, they have some guys, but obviously they couldn't withstand the fourth quarters. Next one we got here. I mean, this is a huge one. Don't really like to praise Notre Dame here, but they win 23-13. They pretty much dominate this game from the start. In my opinion, the offense on Texas A&M was non-existent. They had 250 total yards. You got to give some credit to Notre Dame's defense, especially the passing game. I mean, they only allowed 100 passing yards off of 30 attempts, 12 of 30. That's pretty pathetic. 2 interceptions. They did give up 146 on the ground, but it was about 3.8 yards per rush. Still over, what they probably want. But this is kind of Notre Dame's game. Play hard, physical, hard nosed defense, and then just time of possession on the offensive side. I mean, um, they had about 31 minutes versus 28 minutes of time on this game, and they just really ran the ball. Gave the ball to Love, let Leonard run here and there as well. I mean, he was somewhat efficient, 18 for 30, not the best, only 5 yards per pass, but he didn't turn the ball over. I think that's what you're looking for out of Riley Leonard in that offense. Don't turn the ball over. Um, we're gonna let you throw when needed, but we're really just gonna run the ball, uh, play field of position, and let our defense go to work. Next one here again is the Miami versus Florida game. Miami dominates 41-17. What can you really say about this? This is a bit of a shocker, honestly. Really just shows that Miami was a QB missing, away from being dominant as they are. This also shows that Florida still has a long way to go, and Napier's seat just keeps getting on hotter. I think he could save his job with DJ Lagway now playing in the future, especially with Graham Mertz having the concussion in this game. But I mean, Cam Moore was stellar. I think that's obviously one thing you could say about this game. 26 of 35, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, to throw an interception. Um, but the offense was good. I would say um, you probably want to give the ball more to Martinez, just a little bit more, only about 15 carries, excuse me. But I mean, you got Cam Ward, and you got a pretty explosive offense. So I think a lot of colleges out there that were courting Cam Ward, maybe an FSU. I'm not sure about the others, but I know FSU really comes to mind when thinking about Cam Ward. They probably wish they had him. And then the last two here on the recaps, guys, is we got to go over my Trojans here. 27-20 over LSU. I was in attendance in this game, as you can see in that stadium. But I mean, it was a game, man. It was a pleasure to be in attendance. Love the atmosphere. LSU fans were great for the most part. Didn't understand how these couples though, with one being an LSU fan, one being a USC fan. I wasn't a huge fan of that piece, but it is what it is. But man, Miller Moss 378 off 36 attempts. Nussmeyer still was pretty solid as well, 300 yards off 39 attempts. We ran the ball pretty efficiently, 16 carries over 68 yards. You probably want a little bit better on the rushing. Actually, 23 attempts off 69, so only 3 yards per rush. I mean, that's been our thing from a fan perspective with these USC teams these past 2 years. Is just the run game is not there. Hopefully, again, this is only week one. We'll hopefully continue throughout this season and improve on that. But obviously, that's a big thing right now. That could hold us back throughout this season. Huge win though. Statement win. We have a defense. I don't care what all y'all say anymore. We have a defense. Go watch the tape. And at the end of the day, Lincoln understands offense. Like, we might not score 40 points a game every game because, again, you're playing high caliber teams as well, and they have talent and whatnot. But I mean, he's gonna put these players in a good to great position to at least succeed. So, I mean, this is a crazy good formula right now with him and Danton Lane and that defensive staff. And I just look forward to watching this team every week. All right, and then lastly for the recaps is Boston College over Florida State. Man, what can you say? Just Boston College was the better team. They had more yards, total yardage. They ran the ball more efficiently. And that just seems like that is the how to attack this Florida State defense. Run the ball. That front seven can't contain the run, can't stop the run. You saw it against Georgia Tech in Ireland. You're seeing it now at their home field against Boston College. I mean, especially when you sprinkle in some QB runs. I think that is also an issue they're having with the QB running and whatnot, just not just the running backs. Florida State's now 0-2 after week one. And yeah, they have a tough hill to climb. You never know; they could still win the ACC and be part of the playoffs. But again, it's their odds aren't looking great. All right, guys, we're gonna get into the actual week 2 games now. Hope you guys enjoyed the recaps. Just kind of want to highlight a few things about the games, and let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of week 1. Man, I thought overall it was a great weekend. I think some games could have been a little bit better, but want to know what you guys think. So now we are going to be talking about a handful of games here. We got about six to eight games, and we're going to start off with the big one of the week. And it's Texas versus Michigan. Texas Longhorns go travel to Michigan, Ann Arbor. This game opened at -4 Texas. It is now at -7. So obviously you can see a lot of the money and whatnot has been going towards Texas. The matchup predictor has them at 74%. Basically, we'll just round up. I mean, I think Texas is the better team. Think we are going to see. I think we're just not going to see the Michigan team that we saw these last 2 to 3 years. I think Sharon Moore is a good coach. I think he has a good staff. I think they just lost a lot, especially on defense, and they have a QB issue right now. We'll truly find that out, obviously Saturday. But yes, give me Texas to win this game outright. Next one we got here is Arkansas versus Oklahoma State. This game opened up at 8.5. Oklahoma State. It's now at -10. It is about a 56% win percentage for based on the predictor that Oklahoma State wins. I think it's. I think it's. I think this game's gonna be closer. Honestly, I think as you can see there, they think the offenses are gonna explode. The over and under has moved up to 61.5 versus the 52 that it opened. Yeah, I like that +10 Arkansas, and I understand there's week one in some of these matchups, but I mean Arkansas's got some speed with the running back with their QB. I think they can give Oklahoma State some trouble. Also, I feel like Arkansas's got to have some kind of defense, maybe not the best, right? But you're in the SEC, you got to have some players. You got to try to compete against those big time offenses, right? In the SEC. I think they can understand to try to, cloud the box, get everyone in there if you can, and try to stop Ollie Gordon. All right, next one here is Kansas State versus Tulane. This game opened up at 10. Kansas State, it's actually down to 8.5. It's about a 55-45 split in terms of this matchup predictor towards Kansas State. I mean, honestly, I like that the money's going towards Tulane. I like how it's going closer towards Tulane. I think Tulane's going to make this a matchup. They're at home. I think something we got to take into factor is it probably could be hot at this game. They play on a turf field. It gets hot there. So yeah, give me Tulane, and I think Mario Williams goes off. Georgia Tech versus Syracuse. I mean, I think this is the matchup to watch, in my opinion, for ACC. Man, you got Georgia Tech 2-0. They obviously they beat Florida State. Huge upset to start the season. Syracuse, they're 1-0. If you guys have seen their schedule, it ain't much. This is a picking game. They are at home, Syracuse. They got Kyle McCord. I like their staff. I think they're just trying to grow and build. They could make a run in this ACC. I mean, this ACC is just so wide open. Give me Syracuse at home to upset the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Wow. Can't believe I just said that. All right, next one here is Baylor versus Utah. This is a Big 12 matchup as well. I mean, all I can say is even though Utah, the spread has been going towards Baylor, it was started at 17, it's at 14 and a half. Give me Utah. I think Utah blows it out of the water. They got Cam Rising. That's all you can say. All right, another one here. Iowa State versus Iowa. This is very probably a low scoring game. I'm going to be honest. I will take the over on this game. I feel like there is going to be some offense played in this game. We'll obviously truly find out. But the reason I picked this game really is just it's kind of fascinating that we were able to see a rival like this so early in the season. They've been doing this the last few times, last few years about having this kind of an early in the year. So I kind of dig that. It's pretty cool to see. But yeah, I think Iowa wins this though. Tennessee versus NC State. This is pretty much one of the two evening night games, prime time to end the night. I like Tennessee. I like Nico. I think he's the real deal. He's got weapons around them. Heupel. He seems like he's got a good culture over there and knows what they're doing. And I don't trust NC State after watching what I saw last week. You can make an argument that they were just planning for Tennessee this whole time. Blah 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 blah. Definitely have heard that from true players and actual players and whatnot. But yeah, I think Tennessee. I mean, just look. They opened at 4.5. It's at 9.5. People think Tennessee is going to blow them out, and I concur. I concur. All right, and then lastly is Colorado versus Nebraska. A big time rivalry here. They played last year. Colorado got the upper hand last year, but I think Nebraska wins this game. I do think it's going to be a one possession game. Again, they have a young quarterback, so I do think Dylan Rayo is going to have make some mistakes, but Nebraska just better defense. I think they're going to contain Colorado more than what they did last year. They learned a lot, I think, from last year's game. They're not going to be in Colorado due to the weather, so I think they're going to be more energized. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I think they're just going to be in the game more. They're not going to be looking, to for some air and oxygen and whatnot. And yeah, I think we see Colorado lose against Nebraska. All right, guys. So that is week 2 thoughts and my predictions about most of the games. Hey, if I didn't mention any of the games that you're very interested, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what's going on out there that I'm not aware of, obviously, right? So I can watch it and check it out. All right, guys. Lastly, recruiting updates, and we got just a few. We got 2 commitments here, and then we'll go over some key visits out there. Is kind of what some of the insiders are saying. So the big one here is Malachi Goodman, offensive lineman. He chooses Penn State over Auburn and USC. We're definitely in the mix, but I mean, I think Penn State, you know, got in front of this and just continued to stay in the lead. Next one here is Isaiah Williams, linebacker, 2026 kid here. So obviously the commitment's a little early, but it's still cool to see. Florida commits to Florida State, so this is huge for Florida State in my opinion. That's kind of the big thing why I wanted to show it. Right, they're 0-2 to start the year, but man, they're still able to get commitments, even though it's a 2026 kid. We'll see if they're able to stick them, but it's just it's cool to see that they're able to still get some positivity in that program. All right, last one is some key visits this weekend, guys. So we're gonna go over each individual one. So first one here is DJ Pickett, corner from I think he's a Florida kid. I'm not exactly sure, but basically he's an LSU commit. As you can see, he's a 5-star plus. So the 5-star plus, from my understanding, means that he is a 5-star on all the different media outlets out there. And yeah, he's going to be visiting Miami. This is a huge visit. LSU's coming off a loss against my Trojans, and Miami's riding high off that Florida win. So very interested to see what happens with this guy's recruitment. I mean, at the end of the day, when people say they're committed, you got to really wait until December. Totally get it. So yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Oregon's going to be in the mix. I'd say Florida probably might try to get in the mix. LSU. So there's definitely some teams out there still trying to get his attention. Next one here is athlete Michael Terry III. He's a tight end, wide receiver kind of action. He's visiting Nebraska. This is really a Nebraska Texas. Maybe you could sprinkle a little Oregon in there, but I really think it's a Texas Nebraska battle here. Texas has been really leading so far in terms of the predictions, but this is a huge visit for Nebraska, and this could be a huge get for that crew. Deuce Knight, quarterback, 4-star, Notre Dame commit. He's been committed for over a year since last year. He's visiting Auburn. Okay, he's from Mississippi. He's down from the South. And kind of the thought's always been that he would stay in the South. And it sounds like he is going to eventually flip to Auburn. I mean, he visited last week in week 1. He's visiting again week 2. Alabama and Mississippi are pretty much right by each other, so it's probably a short drive. That's kind of all the indications, all the predictions are he will eventually flip at sometime. So we'll see. Next one here is Jerome Miles, a wide receiver from Corner Canyon, Utah. He'll be visiting my Trojans this weekend against Utah State. He's a weapon, man. He is a stud over there at Corner Canyon. He and the quarterback pretty much dominated IMG from the get-go. There were the reasons why Corner Canyon was able to upset IMG a couple weeks ago. Again, former Ole Miss commit. We have A&M's in the mix, Ohio State, Utah's in the mix. So this is a very key visit to get his attention and let him know, hey man, we're serious about you. Come to be a Trojan. Another one on here, again, just real quick for the Trojans that's not on here. Ty Jackson, 2025 linebacker. He is a Florida kid. Sounds like Penn State, Alabama. A couple of the Florida schools are in the mix there. He's also visiting this weekend. Coach Henney is the main guy there in terms of recruiting him. And yeah, I mean, we're going to need to get 3 to 4 linebackers. We got 2 so far. We're looking to get Madden as well, Madden Fermo from Sarah, Jay Sarah down in San Diego area. Hopefully we can kind of seal the deal on those guys. But yeah, moving forward, Chase Litton, edge. He's going to be visiting Georgia. This is a big visit. Aaron Gregory, wide receiver, is going to be visiting 2026 kid. He'll be visiting and then lastly, Javion Osborne, 2026 kid. He'll be visiting Michigan. So a couple of 2026 kids, mainly 2025 kids, and truly these are, especially 2025 kids, really big key visits for these schools and these players. And just it's very fascinating to really follow through with recruiting guys. So this will conclude our college football video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys want more, want less. Just let me get some feedback. Always enjoyed that. Hey, enjoy your weekend, guys. Week 2 of college football. We also have week 1 of NFL. I know we didn't really dive into that, but we'll get more into that. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. We'll try to do a video on that throughout the day. So, guys, enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk next week. Peace.